Hey guys, Legendaray here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today, we have CandyMan on the channel. This man is one of the best Xbow players in the entire game. As you can see, as of yesterday, he managed to get to number 19 in the world, 7,400 trophies with 2.9 XBow. So today, of course, we have him on the channel sharing a couple of his best replays. So go ahead, give him a follow on Twitter. I'll leave his link down below, and without further ado, let's hop right into some matches. Alright, so this match here is going to be against Viktor, and what other match to start up against than the most popular Elixir Golem Sparky deck. I mean, there's so many ways to just shut down the Xbow, so let's see how he manages to pull this one off. So, Viktor here obviously knows that CandyMan's playing 2.9, he's cycling the skeletons and the ice golem in the back. It's pretty obvious at this point. As soon as you play those archers, you know that it's probably going to be 2.9. So here he goes with a Sparky in the back, and note this Xbow placement. He goes Xbow opposite lane, which is pretty normal, but he plays it towards the inside of the bridge, and you'll notice that CandyMan actually does this quite a bit. This is because you can see here that Tesla is going to help defend that Xbow, and in addition to that, if he pushes opposite lane, then the Xbow will help defend any opposite lane push. You'll see how this comes really important in the second half of the match. But yeah, here, not the best defense, unfortunately, takes quite a bit of damage, but he has managed to cycle back to an Xbow. His Elixir Golem is not in cycle, and here he does get quite a big lock onto the tower. Unfortunately, that baby dragon does do quite a bit of damage onto that Xbow, and it will eventually take that out, but he's still taking that tower down to 1628, taking back the damage lead, and a simple log and skeletons will, kind of take care of the witch. Unfortunately, again, the skeleton just got completely demolished, and he took quite a bit of damage as well. But yeah, he's still in the damage lead on that one tower, and that's pretty much all that matters. So here, again, Sparky in the back, and yeah, again, Xbow in that center placement. And you can see here that the Elixir Golem is placed in the opposite lane, and the Xbow will still do an amazing job at defending this Elixir Golem. So here he goes in with a center planted Tesla, and you can see it actually takes out the Fisherman, which is pretty important. And yeah, he goes with an Ice Spirit and then Ice Golem, which really effectively takes care of all the stuff. And you can notice the Elixir blobs actually go towards that Xbow. That's another reason why that center placement is so effective. If the opponent was playing like a Giant or a Golem, then the Golem would have just completely went straight over towards that Xbow. So anyways, here 45 seconds left. He's got that tower down at 821, and you can see he's just keeping up that aggression using those center planted Xbows. And yeah, you can see he fireballs out that witch, but unfortunately that Elixir Golem is just such a cheap card that he can just get it down so quickly. But anyways, 30 seconds left. CandyMan just reloads with the Tesla. He knows that Xbow is gonna die, so he just kind of leaves it alone. Doesn't waste any additional elixir. And yeah, here this defense gets a little sketchy, but you can see a very good log will finish all of this stuff off. And of course, he'll cycle right back to an Xbow and place it right down. So 10 seconds left, heading towards overtime. The opponent's so low on elixir that he pretty much has to just play that Elixir Golem right on top of the Xbow. And you can see that that pretty much will just shut down the Xbow right there. CandyMan can't do anything about it, and yeah, here you go. Skeleton's log will mitigate as much damage from that E-Wiz as possible. And here, CandyMan decides to Fireball Cycle. And it actually gets really sketchy here, but he can cycle 2 fireballs so fast. But you can see that Elixir Golem just does so much damage. It actually takes that tower down to 287. So thank God for 2.9's fast cycle. Otherwise, the OP Elixir Golem would have taken the win. Alright, so this next match here is going to be against Bowler Balloon Freeze. Wow, I mean, just look at all of the tanks that he has in the deck, yet CandyMan is still able to not just defend these pushes, but also get locks on the tower and take the win. So, starting off here, again, CandyMan just cycling cards in the back. He goes with archers and stuff like that, and here he goes straight in with an Xbow, maybe because he knows the matchup, I'm not quite sure, but the opponent here is just going to straight up go in with a lumberjack balloon right there, and again, no, he played that Xbow in that more center placement, and then that way he can use that Tesla to protect that Xbow. So there we go. He uses a barbell to stop any of the chip damage from the archers, and yeah, we're kind of at a kind of reset position right now. So CandyMan, of course, he has quite a bit of an elixir advantage right now, and he's just going to go ahead cycle right back to an Xbow, and I think he goes ahead and plays it down as well as soon as he reaches about 10 elixir. So yeah, he goes in with that. The opponent goes with a baby dragon in the back, and then CandyMan will just go in here. Now note this play right here. He predicts the bowler right there with an ice golem, and it forces out a tornado. And yeah, it even forces out a lumberjack as well, because that bowler would have been DPS down. So there we go. That forces out a lumberjack, and all CandyMan needs to do is use some skeletons, and that will very, very easily and effectively finish off that entire push without taking a single hit point of damage. So yeah, just look at how effectively CandyMan can use his cycle cards to, pull off some absolutely insane defenses. And now, bowler nowhere in cycle, Xbow on offense. What can this guy do? That's an Xbow lock right on the tower. Here he fireballs that balloon back, and then unfortunately he doesn't have too much else to stop it, but still that Xbow is going to take that tower down to 1920 HP. So heading towards double elixir time, again, you can see he has a super solid lead. He used that initial Xbow to bait out the bowler, and then he proceeded to outcycle it. So here, 53 seconds left. He's going to go ahead, go in with a defensive Xbow. So he's not going to be very aggressive in double elixir time. You note that he does quite a bit of defense as well. You can see how he places that Xbow and Tesla combination. It's really, really effective. You can see that Tesla, followed up with those archers in the back with the ice golem tanking, is just going to do work on this entire push. You can see, even with all of this stuff, and he has to actually fireball out the balloon, but he pretty much takes 0 damage from that defense. So here, CandyMan reloads with another Xbow on defense. He's just gonna rinse and repeat the same thing over and over again, and there's just nothing the opponent can do. 10 seconds left. He even tries to play a balloon to just try and take out Tesla as fast as possible, and I mean, that sort of works, but the balloon still does go down, and CandyMan just uses some simple skeletons to distract that Inferno Dragon. And now CandyMan, back to an Xbow, will actually play it on defense. I think what he's trying to do is to try and set up a defensive Xbow. That way the defensive Xbow can help that offensive Xbow that he can cycle back to. So here, another major balloon push, going all in, very effective fireball, and yeah, look at this defense right here. The balloon's almost at full health, but you can see with the Tesla and the archers, that balloon just got completely destroyed. And here, CandyMan goes in with that Xbow because he has a surviving defensive Xbow. And look at how fast this bowler goes down. It just gets vaporized right there, and that Xbow is just going to be locked onto that tower. Forces out a freeze from the opponent, and also a bar barrel as well, while CandyMan has already cycled back to another offensive Xbow. So of course he's going to go ahead and play that down. Bowler's not in cycle. Tesla right there will distract that baby dragon. He's going to go ahead and fireball that balloon as well, and look at this. The balloon's going to do quite a bit of work on the Xbow, but not before the Xbow takes the tower down to 864 HP. So the opponent gets pretty desperate here, and he actually goes all in. He goes in with an Inferno Dragon as well as a Bar Barrel. And here CandyMan just uses some archers. He almost throws the game here actually, because the opponent uses a NATO and then a Rage Inferno Dragon on the tower, but fortunately he is able to distract it with his super fast reaction timing, and yeah, gets an Xbow lock and finishes off the game. So yeah, really crazy match. Note how he very effectively uses his fast cycle to outcycle his opponent. Alright, so this last match here is going to be against another balloon cycle deck, but this time it's not balloon freeze, it's with the Executioner. I'm sure this one's a lot more popular in lower trophy ranges, because I face it a lot, and I'm not very high on ladder, but yeah, anyways, here CandyMan just starting off cycling his cards, and he goes in with an Xbow because the opponent actually plays an Executioner in the back. That's a 5 elixir commitment, and here note how he fireballs that balloon backwards, and that Xbow will get a decent amount of damage onto the tower. So yeah, pretty much, if he plays like a 5 elixir Executioner in the back, yeah, just go ahead and Xbow opposite lane. But here you can see the Ice Golem. I actually didn't know this, but you can kite the Executioner to the opposite lane with an Ice Golem, which is actually completely crazy. I had no idea. And that Ice Golem is the MVP right there. It's also going to get some chip damage onto the tower, I believe. And, yeah, there we go. He goes in with that, The opponent here goes in with a Valkyrie in the back, which CandyMan just responds with some archers. He knows that this deck doesn't have a big spell, so yeah, he can go ahead and just play his archers in the same lane without worrying too much about it. So here, defensive Tesla right there will very effectively take care of that entire push, and yeah, look at that. Pretty easy defense right there, and you can see that the opponent doesn't have any of his tanks in cycle. That's going to be really, really important, because yeah, CandyMan's gonna go in with an offensive Xbow, and yeah, that forces out a balloon right there, and he does manage to cycle back to a Valkyrie because, you know, the opponent is also running a cycle deck. But yeah, you can see the archer will effectively take care of the balloon, and then he just uses an ice golem to pull that Valkyrie opposite lane. So you can see again just how effectively he can use his cheap cycle cards to not only maximize as much value as possible, but also increase how fast he can cycle. So yeah, heading towards double elixir time again. CandyMan's just gonna cycle the Ice Spirit at the bridge. That's gonna force out skeletons from the opponent, just keeping the pressure up, constantly try and get more chip damage onto the tower. So here he goes in with a Tesla Xbow defensive setup like this. Pretty unique, but you can see here that definitely gets the job done. The opponent tries to send in a balloon to take out the Xbow, and it kind of works, but yeah, the balloon, again, not getting anywhere near the tower. CandyMan's just going to be very happy to set up that defense once again. So, yeah, he reaches 10 elixir. As you see, the opponent actually tries to predict the Xbow, but, you know, CandyMan plays it chill. He goes in with that defensive Xbow, and the opponent simply was not able to predict it. And now that was 5 elixir down the drain, Executioner out of cycle. And yeah, CandyMan's just going to go ahead and go with archers towards the back. He's got a defensive Xbow on the board, very, very healthy. So, of course, you know what that means. He's going to go ahead and go in with an offensive Xbow. But check this out. He tries to juke the opponent out, and it actually works. The opponent plays a Valkyrie on the left lane. That means the Xbow connects on the right lane. And look at this. 2 Xbows, 2 Teslas, vaporize that balloon. Sudden death, Xbow on the tower. He even predicts the Executioner right there and forces out a zap from the opponent. Unfortunately, the Executioner does take out the Xbow, but that was just an insane set of moves right there that just completely finessed his opponent right on the spot. So again, Ice Spirit, try and get some chip damage, and watch this play right here. He goes ahead, pulls this stuff away, and then the opponent actually uses a NATO on offense. So yeah, Fireball will push that balloon away, and then Ice Spirit will freeze it. The balloon almost gets a hit onto the tower, but for some reason it doesn't. Either way, I'm sure CandyMan would have been fine. But yeah, again, the opponent does the same thing again because it worked last time. But here, watch this. He actually uses the Ice Golem to tank for that Tesla so that the balloon traveled in front of the Valkyrie. That allowed the Tesla in the tower to DPS that down nice and easily. Goes in with another offensive Xbow, and you can tell the opponent's just on his heels at this point. There's not too much the opponent can do. He's just trying to defend this Xbow the best he can, but CandyMan just got too much stuff. Finally, the Valkyrie manages to get onto that Xbow, but not before CandyMan is right back to another Xbow. So of course he plays that down right as the opponent goes balloon opposite lane as well. So, you know, CandyMan obviously has to defend that with the Tesla. So unfortunately this Xbow, wow, he still is able to actually defend that, but he goes in with a miner, and unfortunately that Xbow is of course going to go down. And the opponent actually even has to use a zap on that Xbow. So you can see CandyMan just in an insane elixir advantage at this point, and he can just go ahead and Fireball Cycle out. That's another major fact about Xbow that you really have to know, is when to Fireball Cycle. 2 fireballs and 2 logs, I believe, does 830 damage. So yeah, of course, if you're within that threshold and you have a pretty decent elixir advantage, there you go, match in hand, and that is pretty solid right there. So there we go, guys. 3 matches from one of the best Xbow players on the ladder right now. 7,400 with Xbow, absolutely crazy. So, of course, I mean, if you want to give the deck a try, you can. I'm sure next meta will be a lot better for 2.9 XBow, at least I hope. Be sure to go check CandyMan out on Twitter, give him a follow, tell him I sent you. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.